to Soaring with Guests. Please join me in welcoming my guest Fiona from Fiona Uncensored.
Hi. Oh my goodness, this type is everything.
Oh my gosh, welcome, Fiona.
Thank you.
Give you a hug through the screen.
Your love radiates all the way from London, honestly. I need a setup like yours. This is so beautiful. Like,
well, this is my classroom.
Wow.
For my little ones. For my Zoom class, so yeah.
Oh wow. How is that going?
It's good. I'm enjoying it. I love being around children. That's my happy time. So anything for the little ones.
Oh my goodness. I feel like they behave a lot better with the teachers than they do at home. So I find that very unfair.
Well,
like I think 2 minutes late because I was just begging them. I was like, guys, I need you guys to be quiet. Please be quiet. And then I was like, should I scream? I was like, no, Usa, so Fiona, so do not scream.
I know, but you guys have them. I always say you guys have them. We have them for a little bit and then they go home tired, exhausted. We've done all the activity with them. Like, you guys get them
all the fun stuff. So. Yes. They're so worth it. They're so worth it.
How are you? Oh my gosh, Fiona, I'm so happy to have you here. Honestly, like, we met from SOAR, follow each other on Instagram, and honestly, what you do on Instagram is so inspiring. I love your page and your platform and everything you're doing. I was thinking about you because I've noticed that most of the people I've been speaking to, anyway, let me just give an introduction before I start talking.
Okay.
Everybody, welcome to Soaring. I've got Fiona with me from Fiona Uncensored.
Exactly.
Where an amazing human being, honestly. So I started these SOAR videos. I say this in almost every video, but I started it because I find people's stories, like different people have connected with the course in different ways. And I've learned something from everyone that I've spoken to. So I just like to speak to people to find out how it's inspiring them, find out their journey, because I find human beings to be so fascinating and their journeys to be inspiring. So that's why I started doing these SOAR videos. And in just like thinking about you, I have realized that most of the people I've spoken to were already on a journey before SOAR. Like they were already on a journey. Like I've watched some of your old content, your old videos before SOAR, and already you were talking about purpose. Already you were talking about, deep stuff, So me, I want to know how the journey has been for you. How did you become a life coach? And how did you even find out about SOAR?
Oh gosh, like I've been so excited to do this because I feel like I've only been able to touch bits and bobs here in our community, in our SOAR community. And I was speaking to Bankole the other day as well, via WhatsApp, and I was sharing a couple of things with him. So I was like, oh, that's perfect, because I can use that as those are my kind of notes to remind me, because I really don't want to forget the important stuff. I think the craziest thing for me, Mems, has been the fact that I felt like I was doing okay, or on this journey of mine of self-discovery, of me being just a better person, of wealth creation. I felt like, I think I'm getting there, and the main key word I always use with anybody I tell about SOAR is the fact that I knew deep down there was a missing puzzle. And that happened for months, I'd say a year, right? So I think you asked about how I became a life coach. So I'll start from there. It's crazy when you meet people that, for me, it's crazy when I meet people who have it all figured out, So in this journey, I've realized that there's not a lot of people that just know from the time they were born, like, hey, I'm a genius, I'm going to be a doctor, or you know what I mean? Or I'm going to change the world, or I'm going to be a Jeff Bezos, whatever it is, right? Because those kind of people tend to be in the 1%, the ones that are so sure that they're going to do something so amazing within their own capacity. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that doesn't only happen for people who change the world drastically. There's some people who would just say, I just want to maybe go to Uganda. Let me use my country as an example, and work in a community and live there for all these years. That's how sometimes you end up seeing like a Chinese person speaking like Yoruba in Nigeria or whatever, because some people have followed this from a very young age and stuff. But that wasn't me. And I think if I'm to think about university, I went and did a degree that I only concluded because doing civil engineering based on the fact that I was good at maths and physics. And I was like, no, I can't do teaching, because it was either I pursue maths and become somebody who teaches maths, or statistics. And I was just like, nah, Fiona, I don't think you have the patience for teaching, Now, ironically, that I'm older and I thought that then, I'm like, Fiona, but what you're doing now is teaching practically. So, but there's a lot of things that we don't know, Mems, and I think for me, that has been the biggest problem. And I was like, I wish I had like so many different components, so many different people like you now saying, this is what I've experienced, guys. Like, I'm willing to like shout at the top of my lungs, tell you, here, you're going to figure out a lot of things that are going to help you be better, right? I mean, let's be honest, for all this content we share on social media, sometimes or whatever, it's not something that is like, is making you big bucks and you're like, yeah, this is why I'm teaching. But the passion, I've always been passionate about like just seeing an individual like yourself becoming better every day. Like that, oh my gosh, I love that so much. And if it wasn't for the fact that with time we learned that you have to think about your children, think about their children. If it wasn't for that, girl, I'd be doing like life coaching group sessions for free because I love it and it makes sense, But we got bills to pay, and and if God has given you a gift, He gave you a gift so that He can take care of you. How amazing is that? So your gift takes care of others, but it also takes care of you, right? So back to this life coaching, Fiona, why are you a life coach? I'm like, listen, I need to help people figure out what it is that they're doing. In Nigeria right now, you have, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but you have a cutoff. If like you're going to university and you don't get a certain grade, they decide what it is that you're going to study for you. So they just throw a course at you and say, well, you're doing mass communication. Do you know what I mean? That's if you haven't like gotten like top grades, really good grades to do the course that you want to do. So you have a bunch of people around the world doing things that they don't have any business with. Because of that, a lot of them are just so frustrated. And then you start developing habits like procrastination. You start developing habits of resentment. You're just an angry person walking around and everybody's like, why is that person always angry? Like, she didn't choose this life, right? But so I did a course last year with a group of people, and I noticed some people thrived, and then there were a few people that were just struggling. And that is exactly what SOAR did for me. But it's so crazy because it's almost like I was looking out for it. Do you know what I mean? When you have a yearning, the universe tends to respond to you. I'm pretty sure in this journey as well, every day you understand that, oh my goodness, I can't believe that I did not realize that I have to wake up and be intentional about the kind of day I want to have.
Exactly.
So I get to condition the day, not that the day conditions me.
Exactly.
And it's like mind blowing. I'm like, dude, I was just like, what do they call that thing? The rat? When the rat is on like a wheel and you just like,
yes.
And that's what it has been for a lot of us for the longest time, So I've just found it mind blowing that someone who's still on relatively on a new journey can share something so mind-blowing, and then I get it. I've read books about the subconscious mind. I've read books about the power of our thoughts. I've read books about mindset. I've even taught it, but it did not hit or it did not click the way it did when I did it with SOAR. I was like, my gosh, this has to be at the foundation of my teachings for my students. So since so now my client who was really struggling has started like opening her eyes up to like, oh, it's because of the way I'm really thinking. It's because of my negativity. It's because my mind has got a lot of things clogged up that I've told myself, and my parents have told me this, and don't even get me started. I can talk for ages. Listen, let me just throw it back at you.
Yes. I feel you. I so feel you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Same with me. Like, I've started doing teacher trainings as well, because like I'm so passionate about the early years from birth to 6, and I just find that a lot of teachers in that age don't know how much work they have to do. They don't realize, like, it's not just about taking care of the children. It's about modeling. It's about guiding. It's about supporting. You're like a scientist, because they are developing themselves. So you are supposed to be watching them to see, okay, what area are they developing? What area can I help them? How can I assist them? What should I bring to them as they're developing this area of their life? And so with me, I've started talking to teachers, and same thing, I'm going to the mind. I'm starting with like renewing your mind, thinking about all those things there. It's so important, and that's why I keep making so much noise about this course, because I feel like everybody needs to know this. Like, everybody needs to know this is transforming your whole entire being.
What about the fact that it is something so simple, but we were
exactly. Oh, and I love what you said, where it's like, I've read books, I've seen these things, I've watched documentaries where they're talking about it, but there was just something about the way he presented it that was just like,
he's such a big
I get it,
Shout out to Bankole Williams, honestly, like he is God sent. Actually, I haven't even told this to anybody. Only my husband knows about this. But I was like up in his like WhatsApp messages, and I was like, listen, I've been trying so hard to hold back, but I just can't help it. Like, literally everything you say and do, and your composure, like everything about his demeanor is just makes me feel like, God, like this is the person that I need in my life. To help me get to that next level. But it's so strange that in my core, I also feel, or in my gut, I also feel like maybe there's something as well that God wants us to even do together that I don't know about. You now understand the power of sometimes, like in your quiet times, in those quiet times, you hear abundance inside you. You can't explain it. And it's the different realms. Oh my gosh. Like sometimes when I'm talking to like my clients, they're like, oh my gosh, my coach is drunk in like information. I leave voice notes and they're like, coach, oh my gosh, like what we talked about the other day are like affirmations. I'm hearing things, and all of a sudden I'm meeting people. I'm like, guys, laws of life, law of attraction, like speak it. And okay, do you know what? This is what blew my mind about that course. So when I was teaching, I was always very conscious about the fact that, there's a difference between teaching someone something that's based on science and facts, but I loved the way he marries the spirituality with the mind, and he still touches on the body. So I'm a lover of those three components. And I said to him, it was when I did so that I could marry the three, the body, mind, and soul. What part do I need to do in this spiritual realm so that it can affect my mental state, my mind, and meditation. In Africa, everybody keeps talking about meditation like, oh gosh, devil worshipping. So ignorant. Like, we're in such an ignorant space when it comes to the things of meditation, and what we lack in our churches today is that people are not reading. People are not reading. If you don't know something, read about it. You know what I mean? But our culture is just so tired of like school. I'm like, listen, I've left school. Why do I need to,
we're not reading, we're not asking questions, we're just going with the flow.
And complaining about life.
And complaining about life.
Complaining that, oh, let me give you an example. So you've got certain individuals that constantly are, they're just projecting whatever is going on. And then they're wondering, why do I not have friends? God, like every time I'm around you, you suck me dry. So I will see you when I have recharged. My battery is full, then we can hang out.
And they don't see it though. That's the part that really gets, they don't see it. You know, sometimes you talk to someone and then they keep complaining about the same thing over and over and over again. And I'm like, you don't even see that this is a pattern. Yes. This is the same thing you complain about the last person. And so this thing you're saying about recharging, I so get it. There's some people that before you answer that call, you're like, okay, you know, let me breathe in, get myself, you know, because I need to be in the right space, you know, but they don't even, they're oblivious to it.
They don't get it. But you know that the craziest thing as well is that on your journey of becoming a very good spiritual being, because it's a mixture, you know, when Paul constantly talks about in his books in the Bible about being intentional and not dwelling so much on the body, but trying to spend a lot more time in the spiritual realm, you know, and the mind works best in that spiritual realm. That's when like the power happens, when you're sleeping and you've enriched your mind with like positivity, with health. Oh gosh, like it's crazy. My affirmations now are just so mind-blowing. I had to just tell my husband, listen, the only way this thing is going to work so that I don't like choke you with like something that you don't understand is that read this book. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I got this book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, right? And it was my first recommendation. So I was saying before that I reached out to Bankole Williams and I was like, oh my gosh, like, I think you're so cool, blah, blah. Are you taking on any mentees? I promise you, before he even said yes or no, I was like, I promise you I'll be good. I'll do everything that needs to be done and whatnot. And the craziest thing, I think, is the fact that if you see the future, you know, it's projecting to see where you're going.
Yeah.
Because some people might have thought, oh, maybe Fiona would probably like maybe some people are like, oh, you know, it has to be maybe somebody like Tony Robbins, or, you know, somebody global. But I'm like, no, I see that what I need is in this person.
Yeah.
And the moment I can partake in whatever it is that he's doing, oh gosh, ma'am, you're going to hear my name. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like,
I know.
It's unexplainable though. You know, I feel like, you know how sometimes when you have like Christians who are like, oh God, or speaking tongues, you're like, what are these people doing? I feel like so has that effect on me. Like, so I sound crazy being too excited about it because it's so simple.
Yeah.
And it's so affordable.
Yeah.
Especially for the person that needs it the most.
Yeah.
Because most of the people that need it the most, they actually have that money.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Yeah. So, girl, we're gonna preach this gospel. Like,
I tell you. So, before, how did you find out about SOAR? In fact, how did you find out about Bankole Williams?
That's a very good question. I think because when I look back at it, everything just seemed to be very coincidental. But I believe I saw something about him talking about a masterclass.
Okay.
Or something like, not a masterclass, maybe the webinar, the very first webinar. But I've always seen, oh, God is so amazing. I've been in his community one way or another, or even before I followed him, I used to see certain videos of him talking about, you know, sometimes it was about careers and, you know, but every time he speaks, even if it's like a 5-minute, 10-minute video, it's like, boom, it hits.
One more question I have for you, right, is I know that this one is hard, but what one significant change or transformation have you seen, like from before SOAR? What was one thing that you were like doing, or one pattern that you had that right now is just like not even a problem? It's not something that you even experience.
So funny enough, I mentioned this to Bankole the other day. So basically, since I was maybe 18 or so, I used to, I've always had like issues, like medical issues, and they always gynae related and stuff.
Okay.
So at the time, I always thought, oh gosh, Fiona, maybe it's because you were not the Virgin Mary. You did not, those are the kind of thoughts that I was like, oh, I'm getting punished for, for different things and whatnot. And it's a lot later on when I was getting older, I started realizing that some family members had the same issues. So it's a genetic, there's a genetic aspect to it. But I felt like mine was worse because I was, first of all, afraid. For every time I'd start feeling my body feeling like, oh, for gynecological issues for women, once you feel there's something happening, you just start feeling in your glands, in your front glands, like they're swelling or you're uncomfortable. The body starts warning you that something is not right, whether it's, especially if it's bacteria. So for things like UTIs or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so once this, just like, oh, not again. Then I was like, oh, are you sure this is not like maybe one of my exes is like not happy with me? So they went to the witch doctors or whatever. They did black magic, and this is the punishment that I have to carry around and whatnot. But my husband and I, like, oh God blessed me with him, because he was so good and very supportive about it that our intimacy levels were never really affected. It was just a matter of like, okay, it's happened again. What do? We wait it out, and then it's fine, right? This is an uncensored moment, so just bear with me. So, but then after, so first of all, like sometime last year, I had my last episode where I was like, no, I need to get this operated on. And again, I felt like it was spiritual. And that's why I said I appreciate the way soul marries the importance of the body, mind, and soul. Because to a certain extent, was it spiritual? Maybe. To a certain extent, was it birthed by my mind? Maybe. Because one thing affects the other thing. Your conscious mind definitely affects your subconscious mind, and vice versa. So I was like, oh, but I remember somebody was praying. I was actually on another course. It had to do with property, like, I think the lady was talking about like, oh, if you want to get into property and stuff like that. And she had someone on her course who was a pastor. So the guy, some people are very, like, again, we now understand that people tapping into certain dimensions that see things because they've been meditating or praying over a period of time. And this guy goes, there's someone here who is in hospital. You keep having this issue recurring over and over again, blah, blah, blah. But this will be the last time. So I was like, all right, cool. I was like, because surgery is not cool, so finally I can say bye-bye to this issue. But every once in a while I'd still become afraid. And I'll start feeling uncomfortable. I'm like, no. So I start thinking, oh God, no. And then before you know it, I've grabbed onto antibiotics. So I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And now after SOAR, I like self-heal. So when I say I self-heal, I speak to my body, to the trillions of cells within me, and I tell them, behave yourself. You were created in God's perfect image. So you cannot do anything that defies that. And it is so crazy because if any fear starts building up within me and I counter that fear, and literally those symptoms that used to happen then, that would usually manifest to me having to either go on a set of antibiotics or having to go to the gynae or having to go through any procedures, they're not happening anymore. Wow. So for me, that was just like, so I can, oh my gosh, the power is with me to ensure that I don't get sick, or the power is with me to ensure that as I'm stepping out of my house, accidents and things like that people are afraid of, are the chances of it happening are a lot less because I'm intentional about the kind of day that I want. So I'm a lot less agitated about whether it's
More
Lagos traffic.
anxious and all of that. Yeah.
If traffic shows up and I'm driving, I have a driver, but he drove one way and they took my car. So that was another thing that we had to go through. And policies here are not like the way they are in the Western world. So these people were trying to find a way of literally forfeiting our car, and
Wow.
so they could now sell it for a lot
Wow.
less, you know. That when that happened, I remember calling forth and I said, that was last week, Monday, I believe. And I said, it's been 2 months back and forth, you know. We went to court and we won the case. Why are these people still holding on to our car? You know, why are they asking for bribes? Why are they, you know, and I just said in my spirit that on Wednesday, by the end of Wednesday, my car is going to be back no matter what. You know what I mean? And I spoke it and I said, that's what it's going to be. And my car on Wednesday was here. You know, I literally, like, you start speaking for things and they come to pass.
You creating your reality.
Exactly. You know, like now I'm like, I attract wealth. And you just start seeing people you've not heard from in a long time. Oh, Fiona, I just felt like sending you, right? Okay, then I'm not going to say no to that because I called it forth and it's happening. Yeah. Some businesses that I'm not usually even engaging in as much, like with my hair business, I'm now getting somebody who's like, oh, you know, I want to be doing bulk orders. The person's based in the States. I'm in Nigeria. I'm like, girl, you can just order this stuff yourself. Like, but okay, I'm not going to say no to opportunities to make money.
Wow.
You know, no, but it's peace right now. Peace.
Wow. Wow.
Peace.
Oh,
peace.
Wow. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. I love it. I love it. This journey is amazing. Amazing. I remember like I think maybe it was the second day, I started thinking to myself, oh my gosh, this thing I'm feeling like, can this last forever? Or is this just I don't understand, like this control over your mind where you're like dispelling negative thoughts and calling forth what you want and creating your reality.
Yes.
And okay, I'm doing it. And by the second day, like I was getting phone calls, like things were just happening. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is this going to be my life or is this just a seasonal thing? You know? And that fear started to come in. But then I realized, no, that is a negative thought too. So you need to dispel that one.
Definitely.
You know, and it's been 2 months now, right?
Yes, about more or less, yeah.
And then I'm like, it's like every day I'm learning something new. Even just speaking to you, I know the things I've noted down that I'm going to start doing to, you know, like every day is just something new. Every day it just keeps getting better and better. And every morning I just look at and I'm just like, I love my life. And same thing like you're saying, it's not like the troubles are not there. It's just that the mindset toward the troubles have changed. You know, the things that you used to get scared about, the things I used to get anxious about, I don't worry about them anymore. My relationship with my husband is so much better. Relationship with
I was about to ask.
like, everything. Even with my son, with the children, I'm working with my business. Everything is just, you know, now I need to now start working on calling forth and creating more of my reality. That's what I need to start doing more of.
Oh, gosh, it's amazing. I gave my husband a figure and I said, this is what we need to earn by the end of this year. Like we need to find a way of creating this amount of money somehow. And I asked him to read the book so that he would be on the same wavelength as I am, so that we can be in agreement together. So what's going to happen? We're going to be in agreement spiritually, mentally, and physically. You know what I mean? Like, and those are the things that I think I've taken away from all of this, is that your home front becomes better. I don't yell as much, you know, with the kids and stuff. And by the time I do, I catch myself, and sometimes I even go and I apologize. I'm sorry, mommy shouted. Like, you know, that was not like. So they're also like,
what's going on
here? Okay then. You know, so yeah, it's been so transformational, and that's what I was looking for my clients. And now I'm so confident. I'm working on my products that I'm going to roll out, because now I know that, you know what, rather than me just saying, to stop procrastination, let your why be a big one. Yes, that was one thing that I was teaching, but the aspect that I was leaving out was the energy aspect, right? So I've been talking about a book by Jim Quick, and I recommend it to almost everybody, especially people like yourselves, like teachers. I bought it for my kids' tutors so that they can read it and pass on the knowledge on the kids. But when he's talking about procrastination, he says that the way to end to this whole aspect of procrastination so you can get motivation is basically you have to focus on your purpose. He uses the word purpose. Yeah. So what is your why and how impactful is it? To the extent that if you do not do it, there are a lot of people suffering. Who are the people suffering? For every single time you're sitting there clueless, or you're sitting there not sure what to do, or you know what to do, but you're not doing it, who suffers? So that's number one, right? Mm-hmm. So it's an equation. Motivation equals purpose times energy. Now, the part that we're discussing now is the energy aspect.
Yeah.
Because you have to be intentional about how your subconscious mind is relating to your conscious mind, and how your level of spirituality intertwines with what it is that you're saying. Yeah. And understanding the power of creation of your maker and what it is that he wanted you to do. Mm-hmm. Do you see what I mean? And that's why he marries it and says purpose times energy, right?
Yeah.
And then he says times, it's called S3, which basically means 3 S's, and it basically means small, simple steps, right? So a lot of us are just jumping on things, and we're like, oh, I need to do this. And then you spend so much time on like one thing, and then by the time you want to do it again tomorrow, you're so burnt out, or you're just like, oh, this is a lot. But now I'm so comfortable in understanding that my small, simple step might just be that as part of the Fiona Uncensored brand, I spoke to Mems today, and that's okay. If do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be grand. Or if I'm reading a book and I'm not good with reading physical books, like the way Mems does, all I need to do is what? I'll read a page a day. And for you, especially where you're coming from, it might be a huge milestone because you hate reading. Yeah. So a page a day is such an achievement. Yeah. Then tomorrow you do the same thing. Repetition. Oh my goodness. And so I'm a lot more content with where life is.
Oh.
I know that it's a journey, and it's just the beginning, because now that I'm a child, because I'm a child of God as well, like, I'm happy to understand that there's a chance for me to what's the right English word I'm looking for now? He's a God of second chances. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. So my meditation goes beyond just, I feel like I'm attracting wealth right now. I feel like I'm attracting wellness, and today is going to be a fantastic day. It will be peaceful, It's now more about, let me read something. One of my clients was saying, you're good with words, like help me come up with a very strong affirmation when it has to do with work. Let me read my affirmation for you when it comes to work, so you can know that I'm not playing. Where is it? Okay, fantastic. So now I speak I speak, breathe, and radiant wisdom, right? My actions lead to positive transformations. For those who come in contact with me, I naturally attract wealth 24 hours a day. Purposeful is my true definition and the very reason of my existence, right? So like now I'm just like, even with those affirmations, which are, some people might be like, oh, that's powerful. I'm very intentional about understanding my relationship with my maker and breathing words of the Bible into my life, right? And then understanding that it doesn't stop there. Fiona, you need to make out time one day to make sure that you read the Quran. Understand who the creator is in that context. Understand who the maker is in the Torah context. Understand who the maker is and how Buddhism came about to be the way it is, and how meditation is working, or being eager to understand concepts of maybe outer body experiences. Not just like, oh, this is the height of I now know about. So there's a lot more. And we now realize that the more you grow, the better you become with your affirmations, with your workouts, right? Consistency. We know consistency is powerful. With your quality time, with your maker. You now start realizing that there's so many different dimensions. And when you dig deeper and deeper, with each layer, you learn something new, right? You learn that, you know what, even as powerful as SOAR is, when it comes to life, it's a probability. And we can only do our very best to breathe positivity and peace and wellness. But there's still elements. So that when something happens that's unexpected, you're asking yourself, what could this mean? And rather than you feeling like the world has crumbled up and everything is gone crazy because what I believe in didn't work, in that, when you're on that journey of understanding, why did I lose a loved one, even though I wished and prayed and hoped, and I breathed life into them, even in my meditation sessions, right? Why did that happen? You now start understanding that you're having conversations in your quiet time where you can hear a still voice that tells you that this happened at a time such as this for so and so reason. And in that, you're sad and you acknowledge the pain of losing the person, but at the same time, you understand that there was a reason or purpose in that happening for their good. You know what I mean? So, oh gosh, mindfulness. Let me just stop there because I won't stop if you don't.
Oh my gosh, Fiona, this has been amazing. An amazing chat. Honestly, I'm so glad that I got you on here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh my God.
Absolute pleasure. Apologies, it's probably been very long. Your longest video ever.
It's fine. It's fine. It will go on. This full video, unedited, is going on YouTube.
Uncensored.
We'll have to cut down. Uncensored. I love it. I love it. Love you.
I love you. Right. I look forward to us, like connecting more. And maybe one day, hopefully, we'll get to see each other physically as opposed to virtually. We've become virtual friends.
Hope so. All right. Thank you so much for your time. And people, thank you so much for watching. Bye.
God bless you. Bye.